Hi everyone, I'm Jill Morrison. I'm the Regional Manager for Spinal Injuries Association for North Queensland and Far North Queensland. Okay, who are we? We're a statewide service, we're a not-for-profit, and for the purpose of the clinical training placement, we have an office in Townsville and an office in Cairns. And apart from a range of services, we provide allied health services in North Queensland and Far North Queensland, and in particular occupational therapy and nursing. We've partnered with James Cook University now for a few years, taking OT and physio students on placement, but this project allowed us to ramp that up. Okay. So what's our geographical reach? We actually provide services, our allied health services, from Rockhampton right up to the tip of Cape York and Thursday Island, across to Mount Isa and everything else in between. And from our allied health services, we have 3 OTs and 347 clients. Our Indigenous clients are represented by those red triangles, and they're located in 14 different locations. And so we provide outreach through our OTs to those locations, and they represent 7% of our total allied health clients. Who are our clients? About 20% of our clients have quadriplegia, and 80% of our clients have paraplegia. These next few slides are just to illustrate the point to you that a number of our clients come to us and they say, help us get back to doing the things we love to do. What can you do to help us do that? So I'm just exploding some of those myths about what people in wheelchairs can and can't do. That middle one, he's abseiling down a rock in his wheelchair. Pretty amazing, isn't it? And that far right one, Ian, is actually abseiling off a building in Cairns. Okay. How about that one? Yeah, skateboarding ramp. How's that for a Dish has paraplegia and rides his motorbike around Townsville. Okay, so what did we get funded to do? We got funded to strengthen our collaboration with JCU to facilitate OT and physio placements. And in particular, the funding helped us set up a Cairns office and to relocate one of our OTs up to Cairns so that we could access, if you think of the geography, access our clients more, and allowed us to have ongoing student placements in Cairns as well as in our Townsville office. It also allowed us to get the word out there to the new health professional market about spinal cord injury, because it's a very specialised area, and we thought that if we really invest in student placements, we may end up getting a workforce in Far North Queensland and North Queensland who have knowledge about spinal cord injury. We also were able to facilitate an honours project up in Cairns through the funding, and we had a student where we could give her access to some of our more remote clients, which she framed her honours project around. And the funding helped us overcome those horrible financial barriers, and so what we're able to do is we're able to send the students on placement out on aeroplanes with our staff on road trips for a week, which was our normal business, is to go out into the community where our clients live. But it meant that we had the funding to send students, so we're able to pay their accommodation and their travel and their meals. So they just became staff members. Okay, so remember 3 OTs, 147 clients, or 347 clients, and we've ended up having 48 students, which is a big ask of 3 OTs. And in fact, we've run 283 by today, or no, by the end of November, 283 placement days. So we've had first-year observational physio students, we've had first-year observational OT students, and then we've had third and fourth year OT students on placement. So what do we do on outreach, and what have our students done with our staff? Very much our outreach is about equipment prescription, going to the home of where our clients live and working out with the OT eyes what equipment they need. And our students were heavily involved in that. And then going back to the office and negotiating with suppliers, but often spending many, many hours writing funding submissions to try and get funding for our clients to get that equipment. So our students have come out of their placements being excellent submission writers, which is actually a really good skill to have. Our clients, almost 98% of our clients, can't afford the equipment that they actually need. So part of our role is to find the money to get it. The other area that our students are involved in with our OTs is health prevention, pressure and continence management, and then lifestyle advice. And we encouraged our students to reflect when they went on community outreach with our OTs, both in writing and verbally, and to debrief regularly with our OTs. The other thing that our students have been involved in is we've partnered with JCU and we've set up an Interprofessional Clinic, and we've trialled it for just 3 months, 1 day a month, and unfortunately today is the last day of the trial. And Susan Gordon from JCU is talking about that this afternoon in another room, so I won't take her thunder away from that. But the students got involved by following our clients, seeing a whole variety of allied health practitioners. Okay, Jeff. So students on placement would hop on a plane with our OT and go and see our clients. Jeff is one of them. Clearly, Jeff is happy for me to tell his story. So you can imagine being a third-year student on 7-week placement with us and going to see Jeff in his workplace. That's a picture of Jeff in his workplace. And working out what Jeff needs. Jeff was 18 when he had his injury. He was mustering cattle and he fell off, well in fact he hit a rock and flew off his motorbike. And he had 3 hours where he tried to walk for a little bit and drag himself, and then finally collapsed. And he said after 3 hours the crows were circling, waiting for him to lose consciousness to pluck his eyes out. He said fortunately his father and brothers found him, and to put it into perspective, then the family got on the 2-way radio, radioed the Royal Flying Doctor Service. A neighbour heard the radio call. The neighbour then rang and said, "We've got an airstrip, we'll turn the lights on our airstrip. You can bring Jeff over to us." And so they pulled the bed apart so that they had something to put him on, put it in the back of the family station wagon and drove Jeff to the neighbouring property. And then they flew him to Townsville and then flew him to Brisbane. And Jeff wrote his story and published his story in one of our magazines, which is really remarkable, I think. And he talks about the pilot offering his car in Brisbane to his dad. And he said, "Here, you borrow my private car so you can get in and out of the hospital." So our students go to Jeff's farm and help him work out what he needs and you know, do those continence and those pressure checks as well about how he's travelling. And with our students and OTs, we've been able to source about $100,000 in funding for Jeff, just so he can keep working. And those gates that you see are automatic opening gates. His wheelchair is obviously a rough terrain wheelchair. So we've been able to find, through various equipment funding grants, the ability for Jeff to just get on with his job. If we didn't have the students going with us, they wouldn't understand the context of what people need to get on with their life. And also the cups of tea and the cakes and the "this is my story." There's no time limit on that. What we've done is, and we're still in the process of evaluating our student placements. So we're interviewing every student and we're writing that up in an evaluation report, and we're looking for themes that are coming out of the student interviews. What's interesting, I think, is that students are saying in those evaluations already that they're able to work out now how the theory fits in the practice, and they're able to get a better appreciation for what a community health initiative is. A few quotes from our students. It was much more holistic service approach than anything I'd seen before, which helped to build my understanding of what OTs do in a practical context to reach a really high standard of service. And again, this quote from a student is about that direct client interaction, so that they could really understand what's going on. This one is about meeting the client in a remote area and actually realising the imperative of what she needed. And this one is about having the opportunity to come back in the car with a supervisor on the road trip and have that hours and hours with the supervisor to ask lots of questions. And this one is about finding confidence. This student didn't feel that they couldn't imagine themselves an OT. By going out, being in people's homes, being on placement, they got that confidence to do that. And lastly, talking to our supervisors, the good and the bad. The bad was they figured 30% of their time this year has been taken up with students, and that's been a big drain. But the good part of it is that they felt that they've been able to hand so much over to students, and they felt, particularly on outreach, students give a different perspective. They know the clients they tend to get, maybe a bit blasé, whereas the students have a different perception, and often they've picked up ideas from the students. So thank you. This afternoon I have to talk about our Indigenous funding, which sort of allowed us to go a bit more remote, and some of that will be repetitive, but also some new information on what we found out. And finish with Ian abseiling down a building.